La 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 la. Whoa! Is that a person? I really need new headlights. So today I'm going to be putting in new headlights in my Miata. The stock halogens suck. They're basically too dull and too yellow. So when you're driving at night, first of all, you can't see anything because it's too dark. And then on top of that, even what you can see is lit up so yellow that it makes the whole scene look yellow in front of you, and you can't actually see the contrast between all the objects on the road. So I got some proper brighter LED bulbs that are actually white. Before you tell me that this is a halogen housing and that halogen housings are not meant for LED bulbs, you are correct. And I'm still not sure if this is the right way to go, but Flying Miata sells these Morimoto LED bulbs that they say are specifically meant to replicate halogen bulbs so that they can fit in halogen housings. So if these work, these would be ideal because they'd be so much brighter and perfectly white. So I'm gonna give it a shot, or basically just plug and play. I mean, yeah, they would be plug and play if I wasn't an idiot sometimes. So I got started. There's really not much to do. It literally is just pull out the old bulb and plug the new one in. So I pulled out the old one. Okay, so this came out sideways. And just in case I kept track of the orientation that those plugs were placed in case the new one had to match it to be in correctly. So that's exactly what I did. And 2 minutes into this install, I found myself struggling with step 1 of plug and play, which is plug. It didn't seem to be fitting in correctly. Like, this is literally the simplest mod I'm doing on this car. Of course this is not gonna work easy. I've disassembled the entire suspension, put in new ball joints and coilovers on this car, and here I am stuck on plugging in a bulb? I couldn't believe that I was stuck on this of all things. Okay. Time to call for help.
Thanks for calling Flyin Miata. Oh, this is Matt. How can I help you?
Hi, Matt. I'm having trouble installing them right now. So after a couple of minutes on the phone, Matt from Flyin Miata had a great point. Which bulb was I working on? And I was working on the center bulb because that's what I remembered being lit up from last night when I checked it, and it's the biggest bulb, so I figured that's got to be the main one, right? No, it turns out it's the outside one, so I was literally just working on the wrong bulb the whole time. That's why it didn't fit. I'm just an idiot. It does appear to be the outer beam. So, I'm an idiot, and I was working on the wrong bulb, and that's why it didn't fit. The low beams are the outermost bulb, not the center bulb, so I had to call Flyin Miata to figure that out. So armed with this valuable newfound knowledge, I put the other one in, and I should be done. Test with the LED. And guess what? It worked perfectly. Whoa. Okay, we got white light. It's almost as if they were meant to be plug and play. I can't believe that I struggled so much on this video. So far, so good. And we're only 3 minutes in. This gets worse, by the way, too. This was not my day. Alright. I have light. I'm gonna get a before and after. It's kind of the middle of the day here, so I can't really show anything. But here's a before and after taken on the exact same camera exposure settings, so that the camera is not overcompensating for brighter light and turning down the brightness of the image. So I did it. It took 5 minutes, but woo! And after testing it out and seeing that everything worked great, I realized that Murder Shed could use a bit of a cleanup. I'd kind of been working non-stop, upgrading a lot of the car, disassembling the suspension, the coilovers, and kind of just tossing tools and materials everywhere as I'd been working. So for my own sanity, I spent a few minutes and actually got everything cleaned back up, which made quite a big difference. And then I also found something that I had originally taken out of the trunk of my car when I first brought it home, and I didn't realize I had this. A day or two ago, I took apart the latches for the hardtop and the soft top, and I realized the nubs at the end of them were broken. I just found 2 replacement Mazda OEM parts for that one of the previous owners must have got. That's cool. So I was looking at stuff online about putting LED bulbs in headlights that used to have halogens in them, and I realized that I put my LEDs in wrong. There's the LED thing. The LED light basically looks like one flat piece with an LED on each side, and I oriented the whole thing where the lights go up and down. They're supposed to go side to side. I kind of figured they'd probably go side to side, but the way that the connector fit, it was the same direction that it all went in as the old ones that came out. So I thought maybe that's how it's supposed to go. But no, I'm wrong, and I realized this, and I was really starting to notice this because when I'm driving on the road, I can kind of see two little lines of light, and that kind of started tipping me off that I think I put them in sideways. So before I take a little night drive, I'm gonna fix those up. And as if I hadn't already had bad luck putting in the bulbs, I was having even more bad luck adjusting them. I found it quite difficult to figure out how to actually adjust them because it wasn't really clear that you need what part of the bulb that you press in so that you can rotate the collar. And even then it was so new and the O-ring was so stiff that it was hard to rotate. So it took me way longer to rotate and adjust these bulbs than they should have. I don't have much to say except that even though I learned my lesson that anything you do in your car will never go the way you planned, I didn't think headlights would be difficult too. But there's an adjustment collar that spins around the bulb so that it aligns you can use it to align the bulb the correct way. That was not moving for the longest time, and I had to hassle with it a bunch to finally get the LEDs to go in the right way, to face the right. I think I spent like 20 minutes trying to get that to work. But it's good, it's in. So here you can kind of already see a difference between these old halogens and the new LEDs. And keep in mind that the camera is also trying to color balance so that yellow is not as yellow as it visually appears to me. And the main thing I wanted to double check with these new LED bulbs, which turned out to be perfectly fine, was that cutoff line. The last thing you want is to blind oncoming traffic and create more of a dangerous situation where they might accidentally hit you. And apparently that's an issue to look out for when you swap bulbs into housings that they're not meant for. And that's why I got these bulbs. They were marketed to match kind of the direction of the light output of the stock ones, and therefore work as a pretty good retrofit. So I was pretty happy with it. And additionally, I bought some upgraded LED side markers because I wanted to make those a bit brighter while I'm driving around. And you can see it's this long oval shape on the side here. And my hope, while this looks pretty good at night, in the day you really can't see it lit up well. And these are lights that turn on when you turn on the DRLs, the daylight running lights. So I keep those on quite a lot in the day to make sure I'm visible, to make sure I'm as visible as possible. So I thought I'd give it a shot by getting brighter ones that would hopefully light them up a bit better. But of course, even on this install I had issues. It turns out this housing in these Miatas to hold the side marker is kind of finicky, and you gotta press that bulb all the way in just right, otherwise it doesn't fully connect and turn on. So I had to keep messing with this and adjusting it until I finally got it to actually light up. And ta-da! I was finally able to finagle these in. Yo! So finally all I had to do was screw the whole cover back on so that I could actually see how it looks. And the camera is not really capturing this well, but I didn't like it. The color shades were different. I know they look identical, so I'll show you a photo here in a sec. But the color shades of that middle kind of amber light that turns on the side marker were different, and I didn't like that they didn't match.
Halogen. I think I prefer the halogen because I don't know how much you can see on camera. These shades of orange are the exact same. But here, oh yeah, you totally can't tell on camera. This one's like a darker, the LED is darker, almost like a red, and it's off from that orange. And the whole reason I got this was because I thought, from what I understood, it's much brighter. And when I'm driving around at night, I always drive around with at least these running daylights on. Yeah, this might have been a waste of money.
Yeah. So that was annoying, but I mean, that's how it goes. I can't expect anything to be perfect, and I don't really know if I like something until I have it on the car. Luckily, this is such a small and cheap item, it's not really a big issue. But as if I hadn't struggled enough with all these lights, I once again had my last struggle getting the stock bulbs to light up again because of the housing being so finicky. So that was a pretty funny way to finally end the install. Yeah, so LED side markers were not worth it at all. I'm not a big fan of just upgrading everything for the sake of it or because it seems like a good idea. I've been sticking to waiting to upgrade something until I see the need for it. And I realize that this car is probably not that visible at night because it's so small. This car is not that visible in day and night because it's so small. So I always leave my daylight running lights on, and sometimes even if there's a bit of shadow, if I'm going through some shade, I turn the headlights fully on. Because I'd rather stack all the odds in my favor of being as visible as possible, given that I chose to be in such a tiny car. So I thought these LEDs would make the side markers much more visible, so that not only if someone's approaching from the front, but if someone's kind of coming from the side, they can also see that. I don't think it really mattered at all, so I ended up just keeping the halogens in. But yeah. Also didn't expect to struggle so much putting it in because I'm putting in 2 bulbs and they're plug and play. But of course I'm working on my car, and so there's something that always goes wrong. And so at one point the wiring harness, the wire socket for the bulb fell into the bumper, and I had to kind of fish it out with another piece of wire. And then the bulbs weren't even turning on. The bulbs are pretty hard to actually like get all the way in to turn on, so that took a while. So overall not worth it, but was definitely worth looking into. So those installs were pretty bumpy, but I mean, it also is my first time touching any of these components, so it's kind of expected that there's going to be some learning struggles. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy, especially with the LED headlights. Those make such a dramatic difference, and I think I could actually have gone with something even brighter, but now I'm actually able to drive this car at night, which is something I would actively avoid before because of the old stock headlights. So next episode, I'm going to continue working on some small but largely functional upgrades to the car, like adjusting my loose throttle pedal, trying out new door bushings, and getting an alignment, which turns out to be the biggest modification I could have made to my car all along. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.